So the reality is, through your website, there's a huge amount of free resources.
Definitely.
And that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
So lots of parents come to us and say, what about tutoring?
Yep.
They want to spend lots of money on tutoring. Okay. How would you respond to that question?
I completely understand it. I think as you have, I've got 2 girls in the independent sector who have gone through this process, and even though I know with all my heart that I want them to be themselves, I too went out and really looked for every possible way I could support them. But the reality is, that's very much up to parents. I would say that just balancing, as I say, familiarisation is really important. If you do want to go down the tutoring route, there are probably 2 pieces of advice that I would give, because there's lots of tutoring to a whole range of cognitive ability tests, which this is a type of. Do make sure you give anyone that's tutoring the ISEB framework, because so many people will say, yes, we know all about preparing for the ISEB, and then I go on and I look at things and there's loads of great advice, but children are learning a lot of different question styles that aren't in the test. And that's great, because practice is practice, and thinking, logically and critical thinking is really important. But so often, imagine you might be paying for an hour, or your child might be very tired, sat doing something that isn't in that test and isn't helping. So I would say, make sure whatever you decide to invest in, which is your choice, it's really balanced. Okay, practice and familiarisation, that's good. Most of that, if I'm honest, you can do at home. There are resources that mean you can be at home, you can be talking to your child and interacting. Trust your schools, ask them how they might prepare. Again, that's not an additional outlay. And teachers are experts, this is their life. Trust your agents. You guys know the system. You're always in touch with ISEB. We make sure we let you know what's going on and what's out there. So I would say, just start with those trusted sources first, and then make decisions that will enhance that. There is no magic formula, and actually, whilst familiarisation can help, over tutoring and over practicing doesn't. It can actually make results worse.
Understood.
And like I say, think holistically. Perhaps if you want to do tutoring, maybe think about your music lessons and your sports lessons. Maybe think about what you might say at interview. One thing I would say there is, every amazing senior school that you will be looking at wants to hear from you. So one of the brilliant anecdotes we get a lot is, often children are really well prepared for set interview questions, but heads and admissions directors and teachers, they know what's authentic. So I would say, if you do explore preparing for things like interviews, maybe you're asked what your favourite book is, tell the truth and say why, and be excited. You don't have to say Charles Dickens or Shakespeare, particularly if you haven't read it, because actually, when you're 10 and 11, we don't need to know that you've read lots of Shakespeare. We want to know that you can be excited about literature and that you can talk about characters. So don't be afraid to tell the truth and be authentic. So I would again say to parents that are looking at tutoring, interview preparation can be useful. Work with your agents, because they'll know how to be authentic, and also don't have set answers. Be honest.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
That's what
be
they
10.
want to see.
Yeah.
Be 10. Don't be robotic.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Juliet.